wondering too, like how can we foster these different mindsets, or how can we apply mindset in the classroom for students to help with engagement? Because as an educator, we know that engagement's really important for students to be able to engage with that content, learn that content better, which ties into those content goals, but it also makes it a more interactive experience in the classroom. And that engaged learning has been shown in countless studies now that engaged learning is a really effective way for students to succeed in the classroom and in a university context. So how can we use mindsets to kind of foster engagement in the classroom specifically within that space?
That's a wonderful question, and I wish that we can have practitioners, educators reflect on that question a little bit more, because ultimately the mindset is the precursor for the outcome that you just mentioned, engagement. Ultimately, we all can sort of agree that we want to optimize and increase engagement among our students. But how do you do that? And typically, again, there's sometimes a focus on creating the right resources or the right content. But once you recognize that a lot of engagement has to do with mindset, and specifically the things that cause disengagement. And so from a sort of a basic needs perspective, we all as humans are designed, have evolved to become very good at defending our sense of self-view. And anytime we feel like one of our identities, one of our sort of evaluation dimensions will not be positively viewed, then we're motivated to protect ourselves. And how do we protect ourselves? We run away from things. We sort of distance ourselves from things that could be hard, where we might sort of get negative feedback, where we might be seen in a negative light. And because of this core fundamental need for social inclusion, we're very vigilant and sensitive to things that might cast us in a negative light. What's interesting, I think, is when you think of our educational system as a whole, it's actually almost structured to arouse that sense of threat, right? Like we place students in a classroom for long periods of time, for many years, where we sort of bombard them with content and tell them what to think and when to sort of, come up for testing and what exactly the right answer is, and constantly are giving them negative feedback, yet at the same time expect that they'll be happy in that state, right? Yeah. But at the core of it, we have this mechanism to defend our sense of self-view, which causes disengagement. So when you recognize that sensitivity, and you're trying to cultivate a classroom practice that is conducive to engagement, it helps to recognize the things that arouse disengagement. And when you are aware and vigilant of those things, then you can make sure to minimize the chances that these defense mechanisms come online.